Actually, I was.
Show me.
And let's talk about you. This is Met. No, when did you say you? Well, you say that the Met said there was no gangs to look at, but Alexis J was surprised by that and thought that the Met needed to do more work. So I just put that in a slight balance. I asked you the question. You weren't in favour of a national inquiry. The Prime Minister wasn't in favour of a national inquiry. In fact, the Prime Minister said people who are somehow far right, I think is the term he used. I was in favour of a national inquiry, and I certainly am not far right. So this demonstrates how he might be wrong. But my question to you, Mr. Mayor, what has changed? What has changed to persuade you, and if you can answer on behalf of the Prime Minister, I'd appreciate that, to now accept the need for a national inquiry?
Well, Chair, if you allow me to answer the various points raised from the member in his question. The first point is, I've been quite clear that there are no reported cases of the sort of grooming we are talking about, but the Met aren't complacent and they are vigilant and they will look at whatever help they need to give the public inquiry. The second point I would make is he's never asked me about my views on a public inquiry. So to put words in my mouth, saying I'm against a public inquiry, is what I call misinformation, disinformation and a lie. And
so you were in favour of a public inquiry?
Can the member point to an example where he's asked me about a public inquiry and I've dissuaded from
Well, you don't need me specifically to ask you. Anybody in the room could ask you. You could ask public. You were in favour of a public inquiry. Is that what you're telling me?
There has been a national inquiry. There has been a national inquiry.
No, this inquiry we're talking about now. You were in favour of that. Is that what you're suggesting? Because if you are saying that, I will stand corrected.
Well, the member, let's be quite clear. The member said, I've been against the public inquiry, and what's the reason for my U-turn? That's what the member is saying. I'm asking him to point out where I've said I'm against a public inquiry.
And I'm asking you to point out where you said you were in favour of a public inquiry.
Well,
yeah, you laugh and you gesticulate. If you can say that, I quite happily will take it back. But you've never publicly said you were in favour of this national public inquiry.
Let's deal with the evidence and the facts.
You obfuscated. We know that. Answer. Tell me. Show me.
There has been a national inquiry. Professor Alexis J had a national inquiry. She made recommendations which the Conservative government ignored. Not one of her recommendations did they follow through on. Where was Lord Bailey jumping up and down saying to the Conservative government, why aren't you implementing the recommendations? Where was he?
Actually, I was.
Show me.
Let's talk about you. This
is
Met. No, when did you say you were in favour of this public inquiry? You obfuscated then. You're doing it now. And look, I already told you. If I'm telling people something that you have done incorrectly, if I'm incorrect, I will absolutely take it back and apologise. You just demonstrate to me when you showed support from a public inquiry. Job done.
Buckle up, folks, because things are about to get explosive. What you're about to see is a politician squirm, dodge, and flat-out lie in a heated showdown that will make your blood boil. Welcome back to the Truth Bomb Factory. In this shocking video, we break down how Khan wasted precious time, sparked pointless arguments, and refused to answer a simple but burning question. British politics. Like this one, don't forget to like the video. And subscribe to Dark British. Believe it or not, over 98% of viewers watch our content without hitting the follow button. Subscribing is completely free. So, let's dive right in. Khan, you claimed the Met Police said there are no grooming gangs to investigate, right? But here's the twist. Alexis J, who exposed grooming scandals before, was stunned by that claim. She demanded more digging from the Met because she wasn't convinced. Just putting that out there for balance. Now, let's look closer. You weren't exactly pushing for a national inquiry, were you? Neither was the Prime Minister. In fact, he went so far as to slam people demanding it as far-right extremists. But here's the kicker. I personally backed a national inquiry from day one, and I am no far-right nutjob. That alone proves his judgment could be completely wrong. So, Mr. Mayor Spillett, what exactly flipped your switch? What's changed that suddenly makes you embrace this national probe? And if you can speak for the Prime Minister too, even better, because the public deserves to know where both of you really stand. Now, here's Khan's response. Chair, let me deal with all those wild accusations from the member's question. First off, I've been crystal clear. No reported grooming cases like that in London. But let me also say this, the Met isn't asleep on the job. They are on high alert, fully vigilant, and more than ready to assist any public inquiry with whatever is needed. Second, he claims I've never been clear on my stance about a public inquiry, shoving words in my mouth saying I was against it. That's straight-up misinformation, disinformation, and a bold-faced lie. So, let's pause for a second. You're saying you've always been open to a public inquiry? Can you point to where anyone ever asked you directly, and you flat out refused? Because if you can't, it makes your whole defense shaky. Let's be honest, you don't need me personally grilling you for the truth. Anyone could have asked you in public, in a room full of people, whether you supported this new national inquiry. Did you? Yes or no? That's the only question that matters. Now, let's add more context here. There has already been a national inquiry into grooming gangs. That's true. But we're not talking about the old one, we're talking about this new national push, demanded because the earlier investigations left too many questions unanswered. Survivors, campaigners, and communities across the country are calling for this. Did you support that? Or are you simply trying to rewrite history now that the pressure is on? Because let's be real, when the Prime Minister labels people who want justice as far-right extremists, and you stand by quietly, that sends a message. A very dangerous one. A message that ordinary people, victims, and their families don't matter. And now that public pressure is building, you suddenly shift gears, acting like you've been on board from day one. That doesn't add up. Here's the bigger picture. Grooming gangs have left scars on countless families. Communities are demanding answers. A national inquiry isn't about scoring political points, it's about accountability. And if leaders like you, Khan, can't stand firm and be clear from the beginning, then you're failing the very people you claim to represent. So, the question remains, were you ever truly for this inquiry, or are you just trying to cover your tracks because the truth is catching up with you? And if you really think calling people liars will make this go away, you're badly mistaken. Because here's the truth, justice demands honesty. Victims demand clarity. And the public deserves leaders who won't dodge, won't twist words, and won't hide behind political games. Until that happens, we'll keep asking the same question loud and clear. Mr. Mayor, what exactly are you afraid of?